My name is Lawrence Sahagun. I am the president of an environmental company called Environmental Waste Solutions Philippines. I have been in the business of the environment for the past 15 years. So, your first question?
What are the current practices of Metro Manila now on solid waste?
Okay, I will start from year 2000. Year 2000, the national government passed a law. This law is called the Republic Act 9003 or the Solid Waste Management Act. This law was signed into enforcement by the former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. The law basically focuses on the proper segregation of waste, the proper transportation and collection of waste, and the proper disposal of waste. Another facet or concept of the law is empowering the local government units to enforce this law. Basically, giving the barangays the power to come up with systems for segregation. Unfortunately, uh, there is always a reality. I feel, as an expert in this field, that we have relevant laws, but the enforcement is very weak. And number two, sometimes the laws are not practical. For example, Metro Manila. Metro Manila generates an average of 8,000 tons per day. Now that's a lot of waste. Generated by 12 million people. That will be an average of 2.2 kilograms per person. So that is a lot of waste. So that is mixed waste. Recyclables, biodegradable, residual waste. That is the average. Now in Metro Manila, even if we have these laws, even if local governments would say that they are enforcing the law, the fact is everything is being collected all at once and is just being dumped in the sanitary landfill. That's number one. Number two, one flaw about Philippine waste management is we do not practice the polluter pay policy. This polluter pay policy is being practiced all over the world. All over the world, 90%. Wherein me as a consumer, I have to pay to dispose of my garbage. So, like in Germany, per household, will pay about 140 euro or 9,000 pesos per year for the government to dispose of their waste or to manage their waste. In the Philippines, residents, we don't pay anything. The closest that we can get into a garbage fee was in the mayor's permits of the small businesses or the big businesses. This garbage fee is not enough. The garbage fee that the small sari-sari store is paying for their license is the same garbage fee that a big plant or probably SM, MOA, will be paying. And you will see the disparity of their waste generations. Sari-sari store, Mall of Asia. It doesn't make any sense. And waste management here is very political. Very political in the sense that politicians do not want to enforce the polluter pay policy. Why? Because they do not want to lose votes. If they do not want to lose votes, then the burden of waste management falls entirely on the government. So these are the facts of life. For example, a city may say, no segregation, no collection. But when the garbage truck comes, everything is inside, they collect it anyway. So the law is there. We have to be very practical. one practical city that we work with, or I work with, is the city of Davao, and another city is the city of Olongapo. Waste segregation. It doesn't mean that you have to have two colored bins in your house, wherein all of the recyclables are there, paper, plastic, bottles, and the recyclables on another bin. No, it doesn't have to be. That's why I said this law is not practical. You can do it in another country, but not here. For example, our newspaper, our old PET bottles, bottles from the mineral water, cartons, small pieces of metal, cans, they are already collected most often by source already. You have your Bote Jari Garapa coming every week, buying your recyclables. So that alone, these valuable items that can be recyclable is already recycled, it's already taken out of the waste stream. In other countries, they don't have Bote Jari Garapa in caretons or in sidecars, knocking from house to house. I'm going to buy your newspaper, your magazine, your PET bottles. No. Residents will have to really segregate. Number two, now what? So that's what they do in Davao and Olongapo. And then what? The waste that goes into the bin, which the city will collect, will be the residual waste na lang. Residual meaning the waste which practically has no more value. Okay? Now, there's no such thing with everything has value. You can still compost it. But in a big scenario, that's why there is a big disparity between the law and what is actually happening. We know what is actually happening. When the recyclables are already out, that's about 30% of the waste stream out already. 60% will be the residual and biodegradable. That goes into the landfill. Landfill that's another issue. The law also stated that from its enforcement in year 2000, all government units are given 10 years to comply, to have their own sanitary landfills, etc. Unfortunately, out of 100% of local government units, probably 10% of the most will have their own sanitary landfills. That is sad. Because if you don't have a sanitary landfill, where does the rest of the 90% of the waste of the Philippines goes? It either goes to open dump sites, it goes to the sea, and it just goes around and around. It comes back to us. These hunt us when we have floods. They suddenly come out. It's just like sweeping dirt under the rug. It will eventually come out. That's the problem. With this present government or the past governments, I always say it's always band-aid solutions. Solution is, to keep this interview short, is for the Filipino to have a change of heart. Number two, for our government to have a change of heart. Waste management is very political because it is also a very, very corrupt business. And this is a bold statement in saying that a lot of local government units, a lot of officials earn big kickbacks which they take from private contractors. That's why the service of waste management in this country is so bad, because the businessman cannot give his 100% to the Filipino people. Why? Because Mr. Honorable so-and-so still demands a part. That's number two. These are the realities that we don't see. Sometimes we just we just expect our garbage to be collected, taken out, and that's it. It is going to haunt us. It's going to get back to us. So the solution here is for the government to run an intensive information and education campaign, just like what I do. The reality is that we have to segregate. We have to recycle whatever we can recycle. There is such a thing in Europe now which they call urban mining. They mine their landfills. They mine their disposal areas because there's still so much valuable items in the things that we throw. It can be recycled, it can be developed into other items. In Europe, they now practice waste to energy. Waste can be another good source of energy. Unfortunately, we still cannot apply it in the Philippines because the process is so expensive. As is, the Philippines now is the most expensive. They have the most expensive energy in the whole of Asia. And that's just coal-fired. Coal or diesel, which is also destroying the environment. If we want to make use of our waste to convert it to energy, it's going to be times 300%. So if you're paying electricity 10,000, 15,000 a month, for the same consumption, if we're going to use waste to energy, it's going to be 30,000, 40,000. But kasi it's directly related to our economy. In Europe, the typical German family would say, I don't mind paying 100 extra euros per month for my power because I love my environment. Here, 90% of our people even have a hard time putting forth good 3 meals per day for their family. So how much more would they want to pay for cleaner energy? Again, it sounds nice, it sounds beautiful, but is it a reality? Can it be done? Yes, we can dream about it, we can attain for it, but your question, Caroline, is what is the situation now? I've already given you a gist. If I'm going to tell you the whole situation, this interview is not going to finish. But the reality is, it's bad. It's just like sort of saying, our president saying that our country is progressive and we've earned plus 6.5% in our GDP as a country, but you go out. It's not the reality. The reality is we are soon going to explode until there is a change of heart from each individual and a change of practices in our government. Government is throwing away so much money back to the pockets of our leaders instead of it going to systems to develop and protect our environment and to manage our waste well. Okay? Anything else? Okay. Thank you very much.